before we get into part 2 of the Crusher Sit Down with living legend and Alliance head coach Jacare, let me remind you to like and share our Facebook page so that you don't miss out on any of the Crusher Sit Downs with other mixed martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu VIPs. Stick around after the interview for the Crusher's post-interview commentary as well. Here we go. So, Cobrinha Mendes, Adolfo Buchecha, Cayetera, Bruno Malfacine, all great rivalries. What do you think that these rivalries, like these individual rivalries, what do you think, if anything, they bring to Jiu-Jitsu? Do you think they can be as important as team rivalries?
I think so. I think this brings a lot of excitement to Jiu-Jitsu because the black belt day, the adult division, is like the cherry on the cake. Mm-hmm. It's like when everybody wants to see who is going to be the new champions, who is going to be the guys, they're the top level guys. Mm-hmm. The federation is doing a good work, as far as training their referees and everything. Mm-hmm. Of course, there will be mistakes, but, I don't want to believe, that the guys are making these on purpose.
Right.
But rather they are human beings and they can make mistakes.
Right.
But I think they need to encourage the guys to fight a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And the stalling rule has to be really enforced, and I hope it's going to be really enforced this year. Mm-hmm. Guys that don't want to fight, mm-hmm. they need to go home. Mm-hmm. You can have different styles, beating ball and this and this and that, right. But you have to always look to fight. Mm-hmm. I don't admit two guys with their butt on the mat mm-hmm. for 7-8 minutes,
right.
And one don't try to go on top
right.
and pass each other's guard
right.
or try to go for submission.
Yeah.
Stalling should not be part of our sport anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I've talked to a couple of different people about that with different views. And we talk about the Berimbola and two people sitting down and people's views on that. You talked about comparing the old athletes versus the new athletes. When I watched old tournaments, I saw a lot of honesty in Jiu-Jitsu. If you end up pulling guard, we're going to try to take each other down. If you pull guard, I'm going to try to pass, Mm-hmm. But today, you see two guys going and both sitting and, do you think the IBJJF should implement more rules?
I don't know if they should implement more rules, but rather than implementing more rules, they should just enforce the rules a little bit more.
Okay.
Ultimately, is the ref that is going to be conducting the match. Mm-hmm. So if the ref conducts the match the right way, mm-hmm. he pushes the guys to fight,
okay.
He's on top when the guy's falling, he's warning the guys,
yep.
The guys will fight. Mm-hmm. But if the ref is passive, if the ref, is afraid to enforce the rules
right.
because it's a big name,
right.
and then, we could have boring match.
Right.
The ref can really push the pace of the match mm-hmm. if he wants to enforce the rules. The mm-hmm. rules are there.
Okay.
They just need to be enforced.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
Okay. So if somebody comes to you now and they say, hey, Jacare, I want to be a champion. I want to be a champion, which I know has happened here. People come to Atlanta, they want to be a champion. What advice would you give them?
Well, the advice that I give to these guys is that they have to really be committed to train hard. Mm-hmm. They have to commit their life to Jiu-Jitsu. They have to be on the mat mm-hmm. all the time. They need to train really, really hard. Mm-hmm. Take care of themselves outside the mat. This is very important, how they behave outside the mat, mm-hmm. because there is a lot of sacrifice involved if you want to be a champion mm-hmm. in this sport.
So you were there for the early days of Vale Tudo. For example, like Fabio against Kerr, when little guys would fight big guys, bare glove, bare knuckle. What do you think of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts today? This is completely different, in terms of, we saw Jacare this past weekend, the other Jacare, perform beautiful Jiu-Jitsu, Damian Maia, we've seen, beautiful Jiu-Jitsu, but it seems like it's different. What do you think about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA?
Well, I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu still has its place mm-hmm. in MMA. You can see the guys with really good, jiu-jitsu, applying that in an MMA fight. They have an actual weapon. Guys like Jacare, the last time he fought beautiful, applying jiu-jitsu 100%. Damian Maia is another good example. And other guys, Anderson Silva caught Chael Sonnen with the triangle when he was losing the match. He was getting pounded. And then at the last moment, he pulled a triangle and he won the match. I think I agree with Helio Gracie as far as like the message is sent. Jiu-Jitsu has its place in the mixed martial arts world. But now it's about the guy that apply everything together. They stand up, the wrestling, the strategy, the jiu-jitsu, and the physicality is very important. It's not like you're going to fight forever, like before, rounds of 20 minutes, rounds forever until one guy tapped, like when Helio Gracie fought. Now, the guys fight 3 or 5 rounds of 5 minutes. And that's like a high pace, and the public wants to see the guys fight. If they don't fight, the referee is going to enforce. And everybody's going to boo. And the guy's not going to get a new contract with the UFC, for example. So the guy has to perform. So he has to be in tip-top shape, you know, if he wants to do well. But I think jiu-jitsu is always a good weapon, you know.
So looking at your illustrious career, I mean, you talk about the success of Alliance, your individual accomplishments. What stands out? What are you most proud of when you look back?
Well, I try not to look back too much at the past. I live in the present, and the future, you don't know what is going to happen. You know, it's in God's hands. But, you know, I'm very proud of what I have accomplished. I'm very proud, you know, of everything that I did in my life. I would not change that for anything else in the world. I would not change, you know, my career and my lifestyle in jiu-jitsu for like being in the office like you. You know?
That's jacked up, Jacare. You know,
I'm happy this way. You know?
That's
so
awesome.
Happy.
You know, any last words you want to say to the many fans that you have out there?
Well, I just want to invite everybody to go to California next week. I'm very excited to meet with my guys, Fabio and Alexandre, and all the other guys. And let's see, you know, if we can win the World Championship for the age, you know, time, you know. And so I'm very excited, and I'm very proud of my team. But I'm a jiu-jitsu fan. I love everybody. I like the way jiu-jitsu has evolved. I love to see the women's divisions now so huge, you know, so many girls in sports, you know, and so many old guys like me, you know, have, you know, a really good lifestyle, you know, and doing jiu-jitsu, you know. I love to see when the guy is 67 years old and they still training and they still going strong. Jiu-jitsu is very how you would say, you just said this word a little while ago.
It's like, a lot of words.
It's like an addiction. You know?
It
it's
can be
like,
well, it's a lifestyle, an addiction. It can be.
Yeah, it's like once the bug, you know, bugs you.
The fire, you keep the fire.
And, you know, it's gonna be with you, you know, forever. I'm sure, you know. Well, but thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to be with you, and I just say, well, keep training hard, you know, live strong. Life is short.
Well, thank you, Jacare.
You're very
on behalf of all your fans here, all the people you've touched in Atlanta, all the people you touched around the world, I want to say thank you on behalf of all the fans here on Off the Mat with the Crusher.
Okay, thank you guys. Big heart.
Jacare, legend and maker of legends, via the Alliance team. Fabio Gurgel, Marcelo Garcia, Cobrinha. The list goes on and on of the legends that come from the Alliance team, that come from Jacare. But that only tells part of the story. When I think of the man, I think of the man who introduced me to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu some 12 some odd years ago. I remember going through a tough time, and I remember going to Jacare, and he saying to me, Sam, Just train. Doesn't sound like groundbreaking advice, does it? But that wasn't what made an impact on me. What made an impact on me was the caring behind the words. I looked at this living legend even then, and I saw that it really mattered to him that I was going through a tough time. And that stuck with me. And it sticks with me to this day. See, Jacare's real impact, in my opinion, isn't limited to the legends that he creates on the mat. Jacare helps create character in men and women, and he's done it for years. That's the legacy that Jacare has. Thank you, Jacare, for that. And thank you for going off the mat with the Crusher. I'll see you guys next time. Please don't forget to like and share our Facebook page. I'll see you soon.